Wow, look at you all. This is so fabulous. I'm so excited about this. Can I just put a bit of context for today? This was a key commitment from the Liberal Party in the lead up to the election, that within our first 30 days we would have a DV roundtable, and it's something I'm so pleased that we've been able to deliver on. 4 days early, I think. And in saying that, can I acknowledge the work of the Office for Women in putting this together, because they've just pulled it together in such short notice and got such a good cross-section, really important stakeholders who need to be deeply involved in this really early. I just wanted to put a bit of context to the policy development that we produced in opposition. I sort of referred to this in a radio interview the other day, that in opposition you're often starved of information. It's hard to get access to the sort of data that the government has. So what I did is I took a bit of a novel approach, and I spoke to people in the sector and non-government organisations and advocacy groups. And so that is how some of the commitments came about. I'm so proud of the policy that we took to the election. It involved collaboration from very senior levels within the party, including the now Attorney General, Deputy Premier. Sorry, Craig, to point you out, I know that you have moments like this too, so just provide me with some support, that would be great. Also,
yesterday I cried. That's okay.
Well, I haven't shed any tears yet. It's a combination of excitement, anticipation. We're on a journey together. We want to get this done. The Premier as well, the Shadow Treasurer of the time, were also very heavily involved in ensuring that we had a policy that we could be proud of and took to the last election. So that's all been announced. It's all on the public record. It's time to shape that as we go forward. We possibly haven't got every element of it right, and that's why this session is so important, because everybody here is involved in this space, and we need to work together. So that's what today is about. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I want to just acknowledge Michelle's extraordinary work in between having her beautiful son Mitchell in a representation of us in the Parliament, but been a fierce advocate of this during the development of why we're here today. I'd also like you to introduce you to Carolyn Habib. Stand up, Carolyn. Carolyn is been appointed as the Parliamentary Secretary for Domestic and Family Violence and Support. Is that what it's the full title? Something like that, isn't it? The Premier decided, you can sit down. The Premier decided that this was such an important issue that of the two areas of extra support that was to be given, this was to be one of them. There are a lot of reasons for that. In most of our lifetime, domestic and family violence has gone from being a frequently occurring event, often in silence, certainly by the victims who suffered in silence, to what is now unacceptable, illegal, and of which the general community, and therefore people in some positions to make a difference, have not only an understanding of, but a responsibility to do something about it. And, I can remember the huge fights we had when the Mitchell Law Reform came in to talk about rape within marriage, and the extraordinary legislation that followed that, amongst protests in the street. And when I think about how we're going to do something about this, I think of all of the photographs of children in 20 years of courtroom cases that make you want to throw up, but which you have to do something about. I think about a woman who put 6 bullets into her husband, when I think about the law of provocation reform that we need to do. Because every single thing that we do now, and obviously I have a big slice of responsibility for dealing with, unfortunately, the families and the victims who slip through the net. They're at the bottom of the cliff, and we need to manage that. But for all of those victims, there has to be some remedy and some action. So the government are committed to identifying again, with your support and advice, what the priorities should be. We've done a list. As Michelle said, we may not get it all right, There are clearly a bigger list to come, but we do need your support in understanding if there are aspects that need to be reformed or amended or replaced, and we'll look forward to a good working relationship with you for that purpose. I'm excited about it. The Premier's committed to it. The Cabinet understand that this is a priority, and with all of those things in place, our time is there, and I suppose it's fair to say I can talk about all the disappointments you have in sitting in a parliament for 16 years, looking at legislative reform, peering through it. I feel like I've been let out of jail, I might tell you. But it is a wonderful opportunity, obviously, for us to now make a difference and be a key component of what we're about as a new government, and that is delivery. I don't want to hear about another proposal about a new pamphlet or a new website update or something you want me to launch in that regard, and I mean this in sincerity. I want ideas that will translate into action. Now is the time, and we'll make history together. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I am absolutely honoured to have been appointed as the Assistant Minister for Domestic and Family Violence Prevention. I think Stephen Marshall, our Premier's decision to create this dedicated role is a reflection of his commitment to addressing this problem. Like many of you here in this room, I have spent most of my working life in the not-for-profit sector before I came to be in this role. And I suspect, like all of you here in the room, I am absolutely driven by the idea that we can make a difference to people's lives and in our community, and that making a difference is more than a cliche. So, I'm just, absolutely thrilled at what lies ahead, and in all of my roles, including this one, the driving force is all about alleviating suffering, breaking down barriers, and creating the circumstances in which South Australians of all ages can be the best that they can be, and they can live safe, well and happy lives. And I'm sure that is your driving force too, and that's part of the reason why you're here today. I think it's a really positive thing that we are all aware of the prevalence of domestic and family violence. We're all aware of the impact that it has on people's lives and in our community, and that we do not accept it as the status quo. And so I'm not going to say too much, because not only do I have a 1 minute time limit, but today really is all about us as your new representatives in your state parliament, listening to your experiences, learning from your expertise, and working together to end violence, because we know that no one government can do it, no one group can do it alone. It does take a group of committed individuals, committed governments at all levels to really bring about change, to be united in our common cause for genuine change in our community. So just checked to see if there were a few other things that I wanted to say. For me, I really do believe that we can create a generational change, that this is the continuation of a journey that you've all started, and that we can change cultures in our community, in our state, so that in the future time we can look back and domestic violence is something that perhaps most children don't even know about, and it's not a term that's so common in the way that it is today. I really want to say a heartfelt thank you for all the work that you guys have done in your roles in this space today, all the work that you are doing, and for being here today and working with us to, as Vicky said, make history. So thank you.